My 3-step process to creating healthier habits. I share with you my simple formula. Learn a catchy 6-word phrase that will help you replace unhelpful patterns with healthier ones. Hi, I'm Katie, and I help you navigate your emotional world so you can feel empowered by your thoughts and not a victim to them. Habits. They make up our entire life. Without them, this world would be chaos. Well, it already is, but it'd be more chaotic. Now, some of them, though, are not very beneficial to us and maybe a little useless, or some of them might even harm other people around us unintentionally. Then why can't we change them? Well, we can, but there is a process to it, and we have to find something that works for us personally. My formula is universal, and it's a bit like cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT. My top secret formula has 6 words. 3 of the words are the exact same, and the other 3 rhyme. Can you guess it? Well, here it is. Number 1 is face it. Now, in order to change anything, we first must know or be aware of what we want to change and why we want to change it. But most importantly, we must be willing to face it. We might have to admit that there's a problem or admit that something we're doing is not working. And sometimes this has a lot of resistance behind it because we might be too proud. So number 1 is face it. Number 2 is trace it. After we figure out what we want to change and we have the will to want to change it and face it, we then must reverse engineer this puppy because the habit started more than likely a very, very, very long time ago. These habits are usually created in our childhood, and I'm not going to go into much of that today, but when we reverse engineer and we start to observe where this is happening, investigating the habit loop, they call it. So first there is a trigger, then there is the habit that you do, and then you always have a reward for the habit. So we must start to figure out what is the trigger, what is the reward, and why. Really get to notice what's physically going on in the body while the habit or the trigger, the reward is happening, where you're at, who you're with, how you're feeling. Writing it down always helps, of course, and this helps you connect the dots and see more patterns. So number 2 is trace it. And just be mindful that whenever you do start investigating things, just be one patient, also compassionate, and have an open mind to whatever comes up, because sometimes the things that come up may not always be so pretty and awesome to feel. So number 2 is trace it. So last, but certainly not least, is replace it. Now you may have thought I would have put erase it there, but we don't want to necessarily think of our habits as horrible and we want to get rid of them. If we go at it in that direction or in that attitude, more than likely when we do erase this habit, it will come back eventually one day because we haven't dealt with it in a very compassionate way. So we want to face it, trace it, and then replace it with something more helpful. And so whatever the habit is, I'm sure you can think of something that will be more helpful or healthier in that moment to replace it with. So there you have it, my 3-step formula for creating healthier habits. Face it, trace it, and replace it. And I'm just going to leave with you a quote from Gandhi. He says, "Your words become your actions become your habits become your values, and your values become your destiny."